Hi, my name's Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek. And Chris, I don't know why, maybe it's because basketball exhibition is starting. I had the urge to do it in a basketball announcer voice and just and standing 5'8" and a half, 4.5 feet in his office chair, something like that, like a big intro. I
I
don't
would
know,
wait. Is that my height that you're guessing?
5'8". I'm gonna guess 5'8 3/4,
No, I'm not 5'8".
5'9" and a half.
I always count shoes. That's
You
short man
always count.
syndrome.
That's
But
where we differ. I don't
okay,
count the shoes. I get the doctor's
I
office
count.
height, Chris.
Nah, I get the with shoes height, which is 5'10".
But the shoes are a variable that could change based on the type of shoes. But your height without the shoes, that eliminates
It
the
doesn't
variables.
change enough to
Chris,
throw
I've seen
off
some
the height.
platform men. I've seen some men platform shoes. Okay, it gets crazy.
I remember one time I was watching one of our high school games on TV, and one of the people on the team. Like they listed him at 6'2". I was like, holy crap, they are lying. Like he is at most an inch taller than me.
Well, especially high school, if they have the opportunity to be on TV or anything like that, where there's a scouting capacity, it's yeah, they gotta hype that guy up. This might be
Yeah,
his only
they're like,
chance.
maybe they're saying like, hey, this is his max height that he's going to be.
This is right
Because
there.
when
That's a
this is height,
projection.
he might be. Yeah, it's a projection height.
You know how those guys like to make projections of height.
Yeah.
I always liked in Space Jam they make the comment about Bugs Bunny's height and then whatever if you count the ears. And I thought that's a good
Yeah.
point. I'm glad we've come to a place in society where we care more about shoulder height plus wingspan as reach, right? Where we care more
Mm,
about reach than height. Cause I'm like, what if some guys just got really tall heads? That happens. I got a tall
yeah.
head. If I had a normal head, I wouldn't be 5'9 and a quarter or whatever, So I'm
My
glad.
wingspan, I have a pre my wingspan to height ratio is probably a little bit over one.
Mine's a little bit over one as well as slightly longer
Okay.
than respectably it should be. But I got a tall head, so that height that's misleading. Very big, just generally big head.
Like if you put our hands up together,
Right? Maybe our
we're
reach
about
is
to
the
say height.
same.
Mine's will probably.
Our reach is probably similar. I have pretty good, like I said, I've got a good wingspan, so I might still have you by a smidge, but it would be closer than my head would lead you to believe. That's for sure. Hey Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing fine.
Excellent. I know it's just exhibition. The Lakers have looked poor in exhibition, but it's just exhibition.
I
You
haven't
watched
watched a
any of it at all?
single. No, it's because it's hard to honestly watch
It's
preseason games.
it's purely finagling too. There is no element of kind of regular. I mean, it's not they're never playing the regular lineup, but they are not playing the regular lineup in the way that they would
Yeah,
be playing it in the regular season. But I gotta be honest, Chris. So far, Lakers they don't look great. They still got some shooting issues to figure out of which shooters to get on the floor with which
what?
groups.
Uh,
The perennial Lakers issue, it would seem. But
I'm not. They'll figure it out. There's shooters on the team.
there are it's
Just
which ones are going to play in which groups, right? It's
yeah.
finding the chemistry, and then Malik is not currently playing the preseason. And that's probably the biggest individual
Oh
piece
yeah.
that should fit with any lineup for the
I
most
think
part.
so.
So that would be a big part. But yeah, just exhibition. I've been catching up. I've actually had a hockey. I'll have a hockey game because I don't know anything about hockey, but I'm like a child and I
Mm.
find it very there's a lot of things moving and it's shiny and I kind of like it. I don't know anything about it, kind of like it. And I've had a hockey game on and then sometimes either an NBA exhibition game or an MLB playoff game. It's a
I
fun
went
time of year.
to I went to one local hockey game one time. It was fun, but like if I had to describe it, it would be like, hey, if we were at a clan rally, but a fun clan rally that wasn't like about racism. Because there's a bunch of white people yelling very angrily at things.
Well, it's
So,
it's
but
a it's a claim really, and I get what you're going at, but I think of hockey in Canada, right? I just equate those two, or like the North, right? I have a North, hockey equals North,
yeah.
right? What, Chris? What are you talking about? No, I get what you're saying. That does kind of make sense. I have no idea what's going on in hockey, but it's just very frenetic, and I find my eyes drawn to it even when I don't know what's happening. Like football
Hmm.
in between the whistles when things are actually happening, and I kind of like it. But Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, the things I do, I feel like the older I get, I find myself not focused on watching sports, not focused on the ball, focus on everything else that's happening around it. Like, especially in basketball, because you're like, all right, who's cutting where? Like, the ball's not where the action is happening most of the time, especially if you know who has the ball in their hands. That's just kind of a setup. So you're often
it's
watching the plays
it's like
develop.
one step ahead thinking as we get
Yeah.
older. One or two. Give us some credit here. We've watched a bit of ball. Yeah, and I have no sense of that with hockey, so maybe there's like a child well there is like a childlike joy in hockey where I don't have that sort of strategic, like my brain just shuts off and I'm just
Mm,
watching the puck fly around, so it's almost like a
yeah.
reversion in a way. And like I said, I'm not gonna lie to you, I dig it. I don't have a team. I guess I watch the Blues because they're close. I don't know, that's all I got. But hey, that's been my week. It's been shuffling between literally four sports, which is pretty exciting. That's fantastic. Football, baseball, hockey,
Okay.
and 50-50 on the basketball
I
exhibition.
forget that baseball, we're getting into we're in the deep in the playoffs.
I
I only
don't
watch baseball when it's like the last
like
game,
the
deciding
World
game of
Series,
World
yeah.
Series, unless the Royals are playing, and then I'll watch
Kind of the
pretty
the
much.
like local supportive effect. Yeah. I
Yeah, pretty much I'll watch like just like the championship round and the World Series if they're in it, which doesn't happen all that often.
It's very infrequent. Just happens to be a couple of times within our lifetime. I like baseball and softball are probably among my favorite sports to play because I have some element of competence at both of them. But as far as watching, I'm not very dedicated on the watching side.
It's
Not
very boring. I
it.
find it very boring.
It is on during the day, so when I'm working from home, I admit. So I face this corner over here in work. I'm facing into a corner, but I'll put it on the TVs behind me just for background noise. Feels like there's a baseball game going on in the background. Makes me feel less lonely if we're really digging down to the root cause.
Why do they play baseball games during the day? You would think wouldn't they get more revenue? They played it at night or in the
I
evenings.
mean, it's always the afternoon at the earliest, at least for the most part. But to be
Yeah,
honest, I don't have a great answer for you. Could it just be the saturation, like the sheer number of baseball games that happen, that there's less evening revenue to go around, or there's more games to fit in, or I don't know. I don't have a
I
good
mean,
answer.
and it's not like they have to share that field. Well, some teams do have to share with the football team, but that's only
Not,
on like a
and even then,
specific
not
day.
anymore. I don't think. I think all that
Oh,
is
really?
is gone at this point.
Oh,
Finally,
okay.
thank you Raiders for leaving LA.
Yeah, I thought it was some LA. Wait, no, they're
I
not.
think
Well,
it
they're some
used to,
around
like
there.
within the past few years, like that old Raiders field. I feel like they used to.
Yeah.
The kicker would complain about if he had to kick a field goal off of the dirt, how wildly dangerous it was, and everybody'd be like, "Oh, you're just belly aching," and then you try to
Or
kick a field goal off of dirt, and you're like, "Wait a minute."
you're just trying to make your job sound hard.
You
Like,
just no, I don't have a good answer for you, but I do know that it's the sport that's on during the day, and it's kind of harmless background noise for work.
yeah.
So I will admit that it makes me feel slightly less alone during the
The
daytime
most
hours.
excitement I get out of watching baseball is watching the movie 42.
Okay, solid movie. It's
Yeah.
been a long time since I saw it in theaters, and then maybe shortly after, and I probably haven't seen it since. But I remember really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And Angels in the Outfield, young Joseph Gordon-Levitt before he was Robin. Gosh, he was in a lot of stuff. Anyway, way off topic here. Chris, thanks for recording with me this evening. Not that anybody else will notice, but it's kind of, we're trying to plan ahead for the holidays. So we're trying to stuff more recordings in because the holidays are going to be here before we know it. But also, it's like the most exciting part of potentially one of the most exciting seasons, potentially, and one of, choose my words very carefully, in the entire series. And so I'm very excited just to keep talking about these with you. Today we're talking about Book 3, Change. It's chapter 9, and that is called The Stakeout. Chris, would you care to walk us through this
All
episode?
right. Let's stake out. Okay, so Su Yin told Team Avatar to go ahead and find Aiwei. They Korra, with the help of Naga, well, Naga with the help of Korra, really, um, tracked Aiwei to the Misty Palms Oasis, which we've been here before in Avatar. Um, It's where Team Avatar went to right before they got lost in the desert.
Right
And
before
so
Aang killed that buzzard wasp.
yeah, right before Aang had his first murder. Probably wouldn't be his last. Wait, no, no.
I
That's where
mean,
he got the
we
taste for
can't
blood.
prove that. We can't prove
That's
that.
true. We can't prove it. Um,
Aang, you monster.
uh, anyway, they track Highway. Yeah, sorry. Rounding up. They track Highway to the Misty Palms Oasis, and and I enjoyed this episode for a couple reasons. One, it's sort of if it has like the feeling of a filler episode, but with the plot development and of a very important episode. So when they're at the Misty,
The surrounding context makes it feel, or not the surrounding context, like sort of the peripherals all feels like filler type stuff. But when you get to the core
yeah,
of what actually happens in the episode, it is sort of immovable.
yeah. So they track Iway to a room, and they get the room right across. Uh, they do come across like some bounty hunters or that thing, but one is like two of them are like chasing them, but turns out they're just Nut Tuck fans, and they want Bolin's autograph. um,
It's pretty funny.
Interesting enough, the innkeeper is voiced by Andrea Romano. So the voice director, legendary voice director. I feel like you have to put the legendary first hand. You know, it's like saying like Sir Ian. Wait, I don't know. Ian McKellen is a Sir. Sir.
Yeah, surely he is, right?
Wait, Ian McKellen. Yeah, Ian McKellen is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
Uh,
that I don't know any other voice coaches. And so the fact that I know the one voice coach makes her a legend.
Shawn, you do know one other one. We saw her at Comic Con for My Hero.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, yeah, because
Remember?
she was also a voice actress and the voice
Yes.
director. Okay. All right. Well,
Yes.
I don't know her name, so can she
I
really
don't know
be
her name
legendary?
either. Sorry.
No,
No,
you
I
don't
would
know
not
her
say
name.
she's
Then she's
legendary.
definitely not legendary. But for what it's worth, excellent voice work over there in My Hero. So maybe
Also,
she can be legendary.
I want to continue to stress that I hate that I didn't actually meet um, Chris Sabat. Like I keep watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm like, man, he is really good as this character Kuwabara. I had the DVD. I could have had him sign. And I've been watching it and loving it even more. And I just keep thinking to myself, I should have met him like for real, not just saying hi after he was trying to
Going
go
to
to
the
the bathroom
bathroom.
in
Yeah.
privacy. Not that I met him in the bathroom. No, he was on his way
He,
to the bathroom. I'm not a
Chris,
monster.
remember that time when he knocked on the stall when he was in the bathroom
Hey,
and
Chris Sabat. Good
you
luck in
like
there.
slid the DVD
Yeah.
underneath the door, like, hey, you got a minute? I'm gonna
But
keep the
and
door locked
then
until you sign this.
this next season coming up that I'm watching, he voices two characters. The character he always voices, and he voices this this demon, old demon character, and I'm just like, man, I really should have met Chris Sabat. Like that would have been really cool to just talk to him. But anyway,
I'm ready to watch a Yu Hakusho, or at least I thought I was. But then I have this I have this itch to watch this one very specific episode of Digimon first. But I know as soon as I watch one, I'm gonna want to watch the first 13. Always
uh,
do.
yeah, I don't get Digimon, but
The first 13 episodes of Digimon Adventure are probably my 13 favorite episodes of anime. It gets
that's
really bad and it just gets worse and worse and worse. But those 13,
hmm. I only really much watched them once, and that was good.
and you're probably right
Uh,
to do so.
um, yeah, so they track Iway, and they're in the room across, which the room is like really small, and they got Naga in there with them, and Naga's like laying on the bed. And Naga's so one thing I just love how this is framed. It's kind of like a bottle episode too. That's interesting. Um, they're I just like how it's framed because you kind of just get a sense because it's so cramped. You get a sense of the scale of everybody, like especially the angles that they shoot at. Like Naga's just so freaking huge. And at one point, like I see Naga's like Paul, and it's Nessa Boland's hand. Oh no, I'm sorry, Nessa Boland's head, and she's like, "Holy crap!" Naga's Paul is like so freaking huge. Like, I think it's bigger than. Naga's probably actually bigger than a polar bear. I would think.
I don't know for sure. I could agree with that. You could convince me, but I think it just, especially the contrast of coming from Appa, you're like, oh well, Naga's this small, manageable pet
Yeah, yeah,
polar
yeah.
bear,
Exactly.
but now you see her like taking up half of the space. Andrea
Yeah,
Romano tried to warn them in her defense that
that's
the
right.
room was very small. She tried. That was really creepy. The way they're like, no, we just specifically want this one across from
Yeah, like
213.
who's
Like
who's ever
nobody,
asking for a very specific? No one asked for a very
you
specific
wouldn't
room.
do that if you were trying to be even remotely stealthy. Come on, Team Avatar.
Yeah. Um, but no, I just really enjoy. I really one of the things I love about filler episodes is that it provides an opportunity for characters just to sit with each other and just interact with each other, and you get a sense of their characteristics and their interactions and everything like that. And I really enjoyed this aspect of it. Like Mako's the detective; he's very serious. He's working. Korra's like a little step down from him on that very seriousness. And then you got Asami and Bolin. Bolin's kind of just goofing off, and Asami is like nice enough to entertain him. And they play Paisho. And I love how when they start playing Paisho, they're playing. Well, first of all, Bolin's like, I don't know if I want to play you. Like, it'll be too easy. Like I learned from Shady Shin. And then Asami's like, I learned from my dad, the diabolical genius, my dad. um, which I like that she can casually talk about that. That says a lot about the character. That I mean, I'm sure she still thinks about that a lot, but it says a lot about trying to get over something that you can, when you can start casually talking about something
There's no
that
element of
sort of helps.
denial
And
in there whatsoever. It just
yeah,
came out pretty naturally.
yeah. And of course, she like, so they start playing, and the first two moves are pretty quick from each of them. And then Bolin makes a move, and then Sami sits, and she waits and ponders, and she's thinking about her next move. And Bolin's like, "Hey, can you speed this up?" And then Sami's like, "Why?" He's like, "Because we're playing Paisho. Like Paisho is a quick game of chance." So she's like, "No, it's not. It's a very methodical game of like patience and strategy." And then Bolin gets out the rule book, and it's like, it's both. It's everything. There's no real every like kingdom has their own set of rules. And then I love that he like asks Korra as the avatar she needs to standardize the rules.
That falls within the element of the realms of politics, is
Yeah,
standardizing international pie show rules.
yeah. I would really love if like I mean the past. This is one time where I'm just like, man, I wish the past lives were there because we know the Avatar quirk was like a world, one of the like I think the top pie show player in the world, and it'd be really interesting just to get like a quick snippet of Core being like, okay,
Back to
oh,
Kuruk
like
and
like like
and
like she would touch a pie show piece, and then something will click in her. They're like, oh, Avatar Quirk knows. Like, how does he know? And then she would meditate and talk to him, and they would just have like these casual conversations about pie show and about organizing it
I think it'd
and
be
what
great if
rules make sense.
if Kuruk was like, well, listen, I know they accept all styles, but this style really broke off because they were kind of being bitches about this one over here that they weren't so good at, so they broke off and did their own thing, and I don't really recognize that, so it's actually this way. And then Kuruk could come back and just be like, yeah, Sami's right. Y'all just sped it up to confuse your opposition because you weren't winning the strategic game, and or something like that. I would
Yeah.
I would eat that up.
Yeah, and Korok was pretty strategic. Like he had like that's how they found Yoon is that Korok had a certain strategy in playing Pai Sho, and Yoon had that same strategy. And there's like I don't know how many strategies you can use in chess, besides the Queen's Gambit apparently. Um,
I didn't even watch. Too many feelings. I'm not going to watch it. But yeah, there's
I
more
didn't. I
than there
watched like
would
the
be in
first
chess,
three
right?
episodes.
Because there's a variable types of pieces in pie shows. So there could be even
Yeah,
more.
yeah, and Yoon was using that same strategy, so they thought like, what are the chances? Like he must be the Avatar. But oh man, now I just want to go back and re-listen, probably listen to the audiobook
I
of The
somebody
Rise of Kyoshi.
somebody a friend he's like, hey, if you log into my Audible on your phone and then you download them and then you can use your Audible to listen to them. And I got all excited because he had the books, the first one at least. Is second out audiobook out?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I listened to it already. Yeah.
Definitely had the first one, and so I downloaded it and I logged out and I tried to log into my Audible, which I thought was just like an Amazon account. It
I would think it
is
would be.
it
Yeah.
is if you have an Amazon Prime account, I believe you have Audible by default, but like I don't. And I got like I thought Audible itself was like I was going to be able to use like a free service of Audible to play and just not get any of the other benefits. It's like no, you got to have Prime or sign up for Audible. I was like, well, that was wildly disappointing. Whatever, it's
Yeah.
fine.
I think did I buy the audiobooks? I
I
think it
don't
might be on Hoopla. They might be on Hoopla.
I don't know. I haven't bought them yet, but I am
Yeah.
fixing to because it's time for a re-listen.
Yeah. It's a good listen. Uh, but then now I'm thinking about how they found Kyoshi. Yeah, right. I remember when Kyoshi was like just singing that song when they were just doing like chore work and they were doing that weird thing where you do freestyle poetry and right, she was doing it, and then everyone was all having fun, and then Kelsey just like grabs her and like to the point that she was like starting to bleed and you can just even from reading the book, you can just sense that like holy crap, like
She'd
Kyoshi,
been
you might be
right here the whole time.
yeah.
I just picture her like up on open mic night stage doing slam poetry or something. Kelsey just comes up and be like, say that again.
Yeah.
No, it's slam poetry.
Anyway,
It's from the heart. I can't repeat it. I didn't write it down, you
yeah.
know?
It just came to me as
Say
if
it again!
someone else was
Is this somebody
as
else?
a,
Makes me want to watch
uh,
22 Jump Street. But another time. Another time.
anyway. Man, don't have we diverged this? Oh, pie show. That's how it all happened. Anyway, so yeah, I just like how they're just waiting there, and then eventually Corey gets tired of waiting, which I love how Corey's like, you know what, no more waiting. It's been far too long. She goes in, she kicks the walls down, kicks the door down, notices that Iway is just meditating, and he must be in the spirit world. So Corey goes in after him, and then she sees that um, Zahir's there, and he's talking to Iway, and then Zahir pretty much kills Iway.
Yeah, Zahir in a
Throws him in the
mood
fog of
in
lost
this
souls.
episode.
What?
Zahir is in a mood in this
Yeah, he's
episode.
yeah. And then I feel like he had no real reason to.
It
I
felt a
mean,
little out of character, I thought.
because
But
he's not very vengeful, and he's pretty tactful when he's killing people. And I don't know. I mean, he said that I was a loose end, but
they're close enough to the end, or what should be the
yeah,
end, that like a loose end shouldn't. But for as much as I like to nitpick at Zahir, I will say this episode is one of the things I do like that does make perfect sense to me. That yeah, you know what, he would be exceptionally in touch with the spirit world and like literally a master of meditation and essentially like
yeah.
splitting his own brain. Like that makes sense to me in a way that you could develop over time when you spend 15 years in prison. And
Yeah,
no, but that's a detail that for all the nitpicks I do have with him, I really appreciate what he did here and the whole scheme, and I like how it fits together.
yeah. Real quick, I'll go ahead and jump to that point of him being able to be in the spirit world, converse with Korra, but then somehow connect his brain in a way to send a signal to his brain to his mouth to mouth the words Missy Palm's Oasis, Avatar there.
My
Like
my
that.
theory is that he is like in just brief other people have to meditate really hard to get into the spirit world or like focus really, but
Mhm.
he's so good at it that in my mind he's like making really quick leaps back and forth, like just when Cora's like looking
Yeah,
away for a second and he leaps
yeah.
back to be like Oasis, like in that, or
Uh-huh.
or something akin to that, where it's not really a split
Yeah.
as much as it is a
Yeah. still the even the illusion
Oh
of
yeah.
of it is
Oh,
impressive.
I'm buying it either way.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, which as a person who, and the thing is, they brought this up in the commentary because there's like, oh yeah, it's kind of like he's like lucid dreaming. Before I watched the commentary, I had that same thought. I was like, oh, it's kind of like lucid dreaming, right? But the thing is with lucid dreaming is, at least for me, who's a lucid dreamer, like I realize when I'm oftentimes I can realize when I'm dreaming. And then at that point, I can either kind of control myself in the dream, or I can just kind of watch my dream like a movie. But I have to stay in a sort of limbo. Like I can't become too aware of it because once I become too aware, then my brain's like waking up, and then I wake up.
I'm not a.
Right?
Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'm saying there's a balance. Such a delicate balance in that.
So a mastermind of such things would be able to like control that balance more easily and manipulate it.
Yeah.
I'm not a lucid dreamer in the sense I cannot control my dreams, but I frequently know that I'm dreaming. I never seem to have any control, but I frequently know I'm dreaming because it seems like I recognize when there's a person in my dream who I know is dead in real life. I know it's kind of dark, but like I don't have any grandparents anymore, and a few other like close enough humans in my life that like occasionally they'll pop up in my dream. I'm like, ah, okay, I get it. I get it.
Ah,
Grandma, what you
this
doing
is
here?
such
Get out of here. Go away.
a it's very difficult to control yourself in a dream. Like I can't do it that often. You can train yourself to become a better lucid dreamer.
That sounds amazing.
Um,
I don't ever seem
but
to
like
have any element of control. I just, at that point, maybe it's closer to the movie idea where I know that I am dreaming, and so I
yeah,
become more of a passive observer.
yeah. It's really fun to me watching them. Well, it's really fun controlling yourself. Like one time I was a Jedi. One time I was Batman gliding over like Gotham City. But it doesn't happen like that often. Like I can count how many times I've controlled
Like a
myself in a
true
dream.
lucid experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing, and even when I know it's a dream, it's usually really mundane. It's just like I'm out in grandma's side yard or whatever. You know, it's like, well,
Yeah.
okay, what am I supposed to do with this, grandma?
Yeah, I get excited. Like I like I'm watching it like a movie. Like I'm just like, oh man, what's gonna happen next?
Your
And
your
then I
dreams
wake
are
up,
just way
and I
more
really
exciting than
like
mine.
like my dreams can never just be like, hey, here's the full beginning to the end of the movie. It's more like here's the middle, and here's right up to the like the climax, and I'm just like, ah,
It's almost like a four-dimensional movie because you're kind of in there, and there's a passage of time to be noted, and there's a
yeah.
multi-dimensional presence. It's a 4D movie. It's pretty exciting.
Uh, but anyway, so here, very impressive what he can do.
We love great work
So
to hear.
yeah. So he kills Iway, and then he takes his time to, Korra's like, "You're gonna tell me everything," and Zahir's like, "You know what? You deserve it." Now I just love his mannerisms right now because he's being very forthcoming, very honest to
Well,
a
no, he's
certain
scheming,
extent.
but I think he means it. Like he knows it's going to play into
Yeah,
his hand, but it's also there's still a certain amount of respect for the Avatar, and like I think he means it sincerely.
yeah. And also he knows he can benefit from it because he can stall her
Yeah,
long enough for them to get her. And he explains the origins of the Red Lotus, which is, he says that, he says we're the Red Lotus. He's like, we're what the White Lotus were supposed to be. And the White Lotus like came out of hiding and they served the Avatar and they serve corrupt world leaders, which I feel like he has a point. Like the White Lotus never seemed to be about serving individuals or about serving world leaders. They're very like covert in the shadows type of people. Um, but I think he took it, too far. I don't think they were like, "Hey, we should be all about chaos." Like that's like I don't think I was in the White Lotus like chaos is good, friends. Like, oh, okay, let's all agree
oh,
on that. It
that's
was more
yeah,
just
that sounds like a good measure. Yeah,
yeah, I don't think that was like part of the original plan of the White Lotus. It seemed, from what I gather from the members on from the first original series, was like, oh, it's a place to share ideas from all four nations and like we're all one type of deal. It wasn't like, hey, let's equally kill everybody. And, well, yeah,
it's funny to
but
imagine like a very like a well-to-do group of very philosophical people being like, all right, what do we do? You thought about killing everyone? No, to be honest, not yet. I hadn't crossed my
Oh,
mind.
you should watch Stargirl. There's a so Stargirl's really great. I love Stargirls. I think it's one of the had a really great first season. I've heard the second season is also good. I'm just not caught up on it. But so there's an evil group called the the Injustice League, I think, or the Secret Society, something like some evil group. And then and so they're a very evil group, and the team break into their lair and they find like their plans and stuff, and they have like some presentation or some charter about what their plans are. It's like their plan is to provide equal opportunity to people, no matter their race, religion, creed, sexual orientation. And then they're like, "Wait, what?
Hold
This is
on.
their goal?
Let's hear
Like,
him
what's
out.
keep reading? What's the rest of it? To 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 take to be eco-friendly to the earth and stuff like that." And they're like, one of them says like, guys, are we on the wrong team? But like the way they're going to do that is, it's like, oh, they got to brainwash, like a quarter of the population,
I'm not an
something like
ends
that.
justifies the means person or vice versa. I kind of like both the ends and the means to sound pretty appealing, but hey, I admire their
Yeah,
planning. Maybe
uh,
less murder? I don't know.
yeah. Stargirl's great. You should watch it. I was gonna say, so here it talks about the Red Lotus and its origin, and then he talks about how, like how Korra just like, that's a good story novel. When does that get to the part of you kidnapping me? And it's like, that was your uncle's idea, and so then now um, we tie Unalak into this, which I think makes him a better character by default, because he wasn't like great to begin with, but it still makes him a little better.
He didn't like turn a weird corner in his 40s. Like he's been scheming and evil since before we knew him. That does feel
Yeah,
better.
yeah, which also goes to that, there was that idea that I had before, like Eska and Desna are like relatively the same age as Korra. Like, I'm sure he was pissed off when he found out that Korra, his brother's daughter, is the Avatar. It's like, wow, why couldn't that be me? Like, I could have raised my child
Oh, I
as
thought you
the
were gonna be like, oh, it'd have
Avatar.
been so much easier to kill the Avatar if she lived in my house.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I
I
mean,
thought
at
that's
that
where you're
point,
going.
no, at that point, he wouldn't have met Senna, and then Korra wouldn't be Korra,
Fair, totally fair.
wouldn't be born, even if, yeah.
Be so much easier to murder one of my own kids.
Yeah. And so the plan was to kidnap Korra and train her as
A
and
better form of
yeah,
Avatar, so to speak.
yeah, for them. And in the commentary, Bryan says like, and if they did capture her, they would have been successful, pretty successful in training the Avatar and giving her, kind of their ideals and stuff. Which maybe we should do a what if video on that one day. Like, what if the Red Lotus actually did kidnap Korra?
We've got a few flashpoints here we can work off of in the near future, I
Yeah,
think.
this season I think has a couple different like interesting, I don't know, little interesting flashpoints of like, oh, well, what if this changed?
As
What
we
would
get
happen
to the
here?
holiday, and if we need some filler episodes, those tend to make nice, still entertaining and relevant
Yeah,
filler episodes for us. So
he does say like the whole Unavatu Dark Avatar thing. That was not our plan. Like that was not that was Unalaq.
he went rogue.
After his own.
We
Yeah,
excommunicated him, and that was all his thing.
yeah.
And
And then they're like, well, why did she was like, why didn't he get locked up? And then he was like, he wasn't with us. And then he denied all. I mean, not deny. He just hid any evidence that he was part of us at all. So, and then that kind of ends their conversation. And then he says like, we'll. Oh, and then so on the flip side of that, which I think builds a lot of tension, is that he's keeping her on, but he's also told other members of the Red Lotus like, "Hey, go here, catch them." So now we see them fighting Mako and Bolin, but Korra's still not waking up. It's like, Korra, wake up, and she's still not waking up. I thought for a minute that Bolin was gonna slap her, but they wouldn't do that. Uh,
I'd laugh a little bit,
and Yu Yu Hakusho, Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the critiques I would have at it is that it is sometimes it can be insensitive. Like sometimes Yusuke, the main character, would like poke this girl's butt. Like that's inappropriate. Granted, it's his girlfriend. He's kind of teasing her in a sense because she slaps the crap out of him when he does, stuff like that. But at one point, like they're at a martial arts tournament, and she's just like so shocked by some event, but they got to leave, and she's shook in shock, and he's like, "Keiko, wake up!" And he goes, psh, 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 psh. It's not. It's like, oh, that's weird. And then she snaps out of it, and then slaps the crap out of him, which which only like her punches, like for some reason, she's not a fighter, her punches would would slap the crap out of this person who could take a punch by some person who can lift 10,000 pounds and demons and stuff. But they wouldn't do something like that on on Nickelodeon. They wouldn't have somebody. They were so against just physical contact that they wouldn't do that.
I feel like a
But
harmless, like a like
yeah,
the slapstick.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's out of the norm here, so it's fine that it.
yeah. No slap was needed. Just thought for a minute there, Bolin was gonna slap her. So then they this pretty cool fight with between Mako and Bolin and against Gazan and Minghua. But they get handled by the Red Lotus like pretty easily. Like Minghua is just I just love the way she bends. Like it's so violent and aggressive, especially for water. It's really fun to watch. Um, and yeah, that's a good fight. And then Sami's trying to get her away, and then they get trapped by something. And you're supposed to make to believe that it's Gazan, the Earth bending them up. And then Zahir pretty much says like, "Hey, I'll see you in the physical world, Korra." Then she wakes up all Hannibal Lecter style, locked up, mask on, and she wakes up with a Sami buyer, and then she's like, "Sami, where's the Red Lotus?" And so she's like, "Red Lotus? No, the Earth Queen's forces captured us," which is
It was a nice
kind of
twist.
good.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
nice
no, it
twist.
is. Yeah, good twist.
I definitely the first time definitely didn't see it coming, and even this time,
Yeah,
I
I didn't either.
knew it's one of those where I was watching through. I was like, all right, when do they go across the desert within the Earth Queen ship? I know that's a thing. When does it happen? And then this happens. Like, oh yeah, that's why. So
Yeah,
even this second watch through still caught me a little bit.
yeah. Um, and then one second. I know I'm going blank here. I'm going blank for a reason. Note to self.
Just wanted us to see your cool avatar. I get it. It's a good looking picture. You got the people's eyebrow thing going on.
Oh yeah.
Suggests that
Oh,
I'm both knowledgeable but also fun. Is what that one says.
dang it! What am I still? No, I don't want to call you. Why am I off the call now? Oh, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. No, ongoing call. Get on the call. There we go. All right, I'm back. Uh, oh, I'm gonna say one thing I loved about this episode is how I'm gonna phrase it like this. I love how Legend of Korra, Legend of Korra is modernizing the world of Avatar, but I love how they even modernize and mediocre that this hotel they're at is like just a cheap hotel. It even has like the cheap hotel pool, outside pool, and type of deal. Um, but yeah, just love that.
Feels like your standard Super 8 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like $29 a night. Like, man, that's
Little billboard out front. It's like stay the whole week
oh
for
yeah,
$140 or whatever.
yeah. Oh gosh.
I had some of my friends recently. They had like a kitchen appliance caught on fire, and they had to move to a hotel for several months just because there was like smoke damage and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And like you never really think about how bad that is and like how grateful you are that you have your house, and that's a very ingratiating and humbling experience to live in a hotel. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
that
I'm gonna
sounds.
take that from you and learn your lesson, and hope it does not apply to me in the near future. They have kids too. They have 2 kids. I'm like,
Oh
wow,
my
that's I
gosh.
know
Oh my gosh.
that's rough.
Yeah,
That's rough, buddy.
exactly. I call I was sitting on my couch last night or a couple nights ago, and I hear something. It sounds like one of my action figures fell, and I don't notice anything has fallen, but I just hear like a. I'm like,
Like a plastic on plastic kind of.
but like I know that sound. Like it sounds like electricity trying to do something. So then I go and check, and then like I have 2 fans kind of plugged in this area, and I was for sure that I saw like steam come off of them, but they were unplugged. I was like, I don't know what's happening here. I'm pretty sure this fan is like having some type of electrical issue. So then I threw it out. And then I was still hearing it. I was like, okay, well, that apparently wasn't it.
Man, just threw out a
And then
perfectly good fan.
I did. I just thought, I mean, it
It's
was
the
a small
first
fan,
thing that I would have thought
but,
of.
but yeah. Uh, but then I pulled up my baseboard. It was had a faulty wire, and like there's like a burn mark
Oh
on it.
snap!
Yeah. Like, oh, that could have like eventually
Been
caused a fire.
yeah,
I still
horrible.
haven't, I still haven't replaced it yet. I just have turned off the power
Well,
to,
yeah, you're preventing horrible disasters, so I'm gonna say that's
yeah,
doing something.
yeah. I'm doing something.
That's a pro.
Yeah,
Hey kids, you can go to sleep easy tonight.
exactly. The thing is, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I heard it. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna wake up the kids. I mean, if I really thought that like, oh, there could be a fire, but I knew like, all right, I can just worst come to push
Y-
come to shove, I can just shut off the power to the whole house.
Yeah, and
Be
so we can all
fine.
get some sleep, and we'll worry about it in the morning.
Yeah,
That's fine.
but I was able to find the exact breaker for it and just turn that off. It's been off for the past 2 days.
Perfect.
I think that's why there's no lights on in my basement
And
right now. But
and
I
when you
mean, there are lights. I have these lights plugged in to a different outlet that still has power and stuff. So
you got like the hanging bar lights in your basement,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So, well, yeah. Hey, convenient that they can be plugged in elsewhere. And when you're ready, you can turn that other
I
breaker
know,
on.
right?
Someday.
Thing is, I've kind of like how the setup is because then I have a lamp over there. I don't know, it's just the right amount of light
Little mood lighting.
down here. I'm like,
Little
I really don't need the light in those 2 outlets that aren't working, but I'll officially get it work anyway.
someday.
That's the episode. Ratings.
Let's do some ratings.
All right.
And if I can get there, here we go.
So audio visual, given an 8.5. Really like the fight at the end with Bolin and Mako versus Kazan and Mingua. That was really good. The Spirit World was really good. And there was a lot of really good, just like stills, like a lot of background kind of paintings, if you will, which is really interesting in Avatar. I think specifically in Legend of Korra. I don't remember them maybe doing this in Avatar as much, but I know in Legend of Korra a lot of times they do like paintings and they use those as the backgrounds, which you can kind of tell a lot of that in this episode. So 8.5 on audio visual. Story an 8.5. The story just keeps kind of picking up and going. Um, it was really great just to hear the backstory of the Red Lotus, and I just like when characters of opposing sides just sit and talk. I think that's really cool because you get a lot of great dialogue in there. Memorable, also 8.5. I'm pretty sure I'm not becoming lazy. These are just things. I think my net scores are pretty similar as well. Yeah. Anyway, no, they're not similar. Okay. Anyway, 8.5. So memorable. What did I really remember about this episode? There's something that's stuck out to me. Oh, Pie Show. That was really cool. I love seeing that. And which is just a weird thing, but I always remember just them playing Pie Show together. Because I love it when characters just sit around and be themselves around each other. It's really important. So 8.5 all over, 8.5.
Nice. Audiovisual, I went a smidge above. I always like it when your A plot and your B plot, or at least they're not really A and B, but you've got a couple of different scenes or environments to choose from. I always like Spirit World stuff.
Mhm.
Very exciting, very pretty. Story, I hadn't thought about what you said, but as you said, it does make a lot of sense to me. There's not many organic opportunities for a good guy and a bad guy to sit down and have a real chat where it like makes sense. But here, fits in extremely well. Probably could have argued a smidge higher on story. Maybe it just
Yeah, yeah. I thought about it also.
I,
Interesting stuff in the just to go along with what you said in the commentary. Brian was like, because in this time they were like doing the commentary pretty much like right after these episodes were kind of released, and so Brian had a pretty good sense of how fan reaction was. He was like, "Hey, early on, fans were just like, the Red Lotus just like has no direction, and like, what do they even want?" And Brian was like, "I mean, we'll get there," and like, and then Brian was saying like, "Well, honestly, we didn't really. There wasn't like a convenient time for them to sit there wouldn't be any reason for them at this point to really sit and tell you what their plan is and why they're doing it and their background and stuff until now.
and bad guy monologues are usually not people's favorite part. Like it feels like a necessary evil, but here it just I mean, they don't have their bending. It makes sense for Zahir. It maybe makes a little less sense for Korra not to suspect something, but I get it. It's fine.
I
So
mean,
it
she
just
has to get answers,
yeah.
right? Like,
So I don't know. It just fits in a little better. The being trapped in the place, the lack of bending. That's a nice
it's
fit.
interesting if Korra, if like end of book four, Korra was doing the same thing, she would be in like so much of a like she would be able to trap Zahir. I think even now she probably would have been able to maybe try and nah, he would just get out. He's too good spiritually.
He is,
Like,
but I see where you're at. Like in the right state of mind, or if she had had some foresight, she could have like put up
yeah,
a good barrier in the spirit world, or put up a good distraction
yeah.
to Zahir in the spirit world.
Because even because I remember there's that scene in season four where Korra's in the spirit world and Rava like she's finally reconnected with Rava, and then Korra's like I don't know what to do, like I don't have my bending, and Rava's like you're the Avatar, like you are being in the spirit world, you're actually more powerful now. It's like Korra doesn't realize that at this point in time, but
And then that little girl
anyway,
from the Matrix shows up and says the spoon isn't real. And then she's like, "Oh, I can bend here." No, that's crazy talk. No, I see what you're getting at though. Is maybe she couldn't have bested Zahir, but if she had kind of had
yeah,
that introspective knowledge of herself, maybe she could have done something. But either way, it just fits really nice here. I think you can make an argument for a smidge higher even on story. Memorable, I will say the issue I have with this one is the only part that jumps out at me, really, and it's nothing against Pie Show and all the other stuff, but it is kind of filler-y feeling on the peripherals. It's really
hmm
just the spirit world part that jumps out of me as like integral and memorable and all that stuff. But overall that's
yeah,
fine. So 8.3 brings us out to a nice 8.4. It's a real solid episode. Stuff
nice.
just keeps ramping up, getting a little more and more exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting enough, like I remember some fans asked like, "Oh, why didn't Korra take away the bending of Zahir after she captured?" One thing there's plenty of reasons why, but like the main reason why I think is that in order to bend your another's energy, yours must be uncorruptible, and I feel like Zahir, his energy would be uncorruptible as well. Like he is so impassioned and just so into his mission. Like it's
Singularly focused, kind of like it's
yeah.
not that other
Like I
things
don't
aren't important to him, but if you made him choose in terms of being incorruptible in his mission, he would be.
yeah. Like his mission is pure. Like I don't think he would be able to take away Zahir's bending.
I don't either.
But
I don't either, but interesting. Well, hey, that's the stakeout. That's book 3 change. Chapter, well, this one should just be 9. Did I put 10 on there? I did, didn't I? Right? Is this 9?
jeez,
Is this 10?
I don't know. I think it's nine.
This is 9. I'm crazy. I You got to give me some slack. I did this all in like 10 minutes before you called. I got home at 9:47, give or take.
Oh, really?
It's been a little busy, but I know it's only going to get busier. Winter is busier. So anyway, no, this is chapter 9. It's called The Stakeout. It's very exciting. Things really ramping up. So we hope that you are digging it, and obviously that we hope you stick with us for the next few episodes because they are fantastic. Spoiler alert, I guess. I don't know if you've watched the show. I would like to think you're already in agreement. Chris, thank you very much for joining me. My name's Shawn. That's my friend Chris Ford, a.k.a. The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter. I'll put all the contacty stuff down in the description as always. And thank you so much for watching. We hope you join us next time. And that's Chris yawning to the sounds of Avatar music. Let us bring you to the stylings of Chris plus Avatar drums.